Why do we learn? What do we learn? And how do we apply what we learn in the real world? These are some of the questions I wanted to answer when I started this podcast. This is an audio and video show where I interview a diverse set of learners from the 21st century about how they acquired a set of skills and knowledge in a creative and innovative manner. In the process, I hope to uncover a new understanding of learning as conceptualized, imagined, and narrated by the guest on our show. Today's guest, Shruthi Kulkarni, is someone that I met at an event called Jagrati Yatra. And a larger focus of this podcast this year, and in this season in particular, is to look at the lives of young Indians defining the future of our country. So let me tell you a little bit about Shruthi before we jump into this conversation. Shruti is an environmental educator and conservationist. Currently, she is an associate consultant for the Directorate of School Education in Nagaland. It's a project called Nectar, which stands for Nagaland Education, Classroom Teaching and Resources. We'll find out more about her work with that organization in this podcast. Previously, she was an associate and senior at KPMG for 3 years in their Nagaland and West Bengal offices. She also spent a year working as a project officer for the Center for Environmental Education in Maharashtra. Before this, she completed a BSc in botany and an MSc in environmental science from the Shivaji University in Kolhapur, Maharashtra. She then completed her PhD from the Savitribai Phule Pune University. Her PhD thesis, which I got a chance to read before this interview, was a study on birds and butterflies as a bioindicator species in the Manoli Reserve Forest and the Amba village region. Today, Shruti is here to tell us about her work as a PhD scholar, but also about her work after she completed her PhD as an environmental educator and conservationist. She's worked with over 70 schools and 700 plus students. So, Shruti, just to start off, what I'd like to do is maybe if you can tell me some stories of your childhood, where you grew up, what were some of the things you were curious about, and Shruti, just the camera, if you could just position it a little more towards the center.
Yeah, it's okay.
This is perfect. Yeah. So I'd love to know more about your childhood and what was Shruti like and when she was growing up and what were you interested in?
Yeah, thanks, Abhishek. It's a long time, and because of you, I am feeling nostalgic about the JDY Jagrati Digital Yatra, and now it's like time to again one more Jagrati Yatra. So feeling very overwhelming. Thanks for giving me this opportunity. First of all, just starting with my interesting childhood story. So when I was like second or third standard, and our school is very good place around lot of trees. Okay, it's okay. Okay. So my school place is very beautiful place around lot of tamarind, mango, banyan trees, and it's very beautiful old school. So during recess, me and my friends we were roaming around and like playing around with the school building in that greenery side, around the trees. And once me and my friends we were collecting some tamarinds from tamarind trees, and good part that we are 80s 90s kids, we have that privilege, so we play and climb trees and all that, all notorious things we did in our childhood. So we were collecting tamarinds from tamarind tree, and after I got that tamarind pot, suddenly one thought came in my mind. So this one tamarind pod having 4 5 seeds, if we sowing, so how can thousand of tamarinds I will get through this one pod? So first time that curiosity comes in my mind, and that's the trigger point for me or turning point for me, and I very much towards nature, botany, environmental science, and I started reading books, then watching different shows. A good part that time, National Geographic and Discovery Channel just started in India, so some interesting educational shows were started. And fortunately, my mom dad also always encourage me through this journey. So we watched that time in a theater various African safari movies, and I really fascinated with the world of animal, plant, and environment, and that triggered me a lot. And earlier you asked, my childhood is like completely normal 80s 90s kids. It's a total middle class family. Trees, we were playing, we don't have that time, we didn't have that time toys, so usually we were playing with the surroundings. So beautiful memories. I grew up very safe, pleasant, kind environment around me, and I was born and brought up in small town of Maharashtra. So that's why I privileged lot, explored lot of things. And my hometown is situated near well-known Western Ghat. So it's very beautifully hilly, around hills, mountains, and it's very beautiful place. So thank you.
That's amazing, Shruti. Like, sorry, Shruti, I need you to just centralize the camera a little more because
Yeah.
little more towards the left. Yeah, little more.
Okay.
Yeah, just a little more, Shruti. I think because your what's happening is
Now
yeah,
it's
this is
better.
now it's much better. Perfect. Thanks, Shruti.
Uh, okay.
This is good. So, like, what I wanted to ask you, Shruti, is you spoke about the Western Ghats. You know, in India, the Western Ghats is considered one of the most rich natural ecosystems, not just in India but around the world.
Yeah.
So, and you grew up around the Western Ghats, you know, near Kolhapur and that part of Maharashtra. So, can you tell me a little bit about the Western Ghats and why it is so important from a biodiversity and ecology perspective?
Yeah. Uh, Earlier you mentioned it's a natural biodiversity hotspot around the world. During surveys, so some spots, biodiversity hotspots, they selected on the basis of whatever reach biodiversity around 1 square kilometer of area. They counted that time, and fortunately in India, three places were selected as a natural biodiversity hotspots. So one is Western Ghat, one is Himalaya, some Himalayan region, and third is Andaman Nicobar Island. So I'm really fortunate. So I grew up in a place like Western Ghat, around my just two blocks in my district. It's just away from Western Ghat. 80% of my district is towards Western Ghat. So we have a lot of good hills, some mountains, mountain Sahyadri ranges. So usually in Maharashtra we calling it's Sahyadri range. So it's a mountain range. It started from the Gujarat to Goa. So it's like near coastal Maharashtra. It's like natural fence which is protecting ours other Maharashtrian part with these cyclones and some natural calamities. Currently we were seeing lot of cyclones, tornadoes are coming in the because of climate change. So but fortunately Western Ghat is working as a fence, or it's a barrier between the coastal and plateau Maharashtra. So geologically it's very important. Again, it's a basalt based mountain, so it's very hard rock. So it's giving strength to Maharashtra regarding lot of nowadays, because of anthropogenic activities, some places landslide started, but comparatively Himalayan ranges and other mountain ranges, Western Ghat is very solid. So cases of landslides are very few, or very least common in Maharashtrian belt. So that's again it's giving sturdity to Maharashtra. And because of Western Ghats, some part of Maharashtra become a plateau area, which is useful for the fertile land. And you already aware Maharashtra having good fertile land, and Western Ghat is the origin of lot of important Maharashtrian rivers like Krishna, Godavari, Bhima. These are originated from Western Ghat. So geographically, culturally, even though our we are always Maharashtrian people always worshipping King Shivaji Maharaj. So he also lot of his childhood and his half of life he spent in Western Ghats, forts, then lot of castles there. It's around this Western Ghat area. So interesting. Western Ghats are culturally, geographically, economically very important to Maharashtra. And as earlier I mentioned, it's a home of various endemic. I will explain term endemic. Endemic means the plant or animal which is only found in that particular area, called as endemism or endemic species. I mean, like some of species, earlier also I studied 20 to 30% species are endemic to Western Ghats. If you are we can some species we couldn't find in all over globe. So some species are very location specific. That species called as a endemism or endemic species.
Got it. Like, can you give me an example of, some plant and animal species that is endemic to the Western Ghats, Shruti, and why is it so important for them to be protected in this area, according to you?
Yeah. Uh, First of all, lot of butterflies, then reptiles, amphibians, and plant species are very endemic to Western Ghats. I will give a few example. Plant. One plant in our local dialect we called as Amrita. Amrita means actually giving you the immortal life. So that plant, botanical name is Nothopoditus. So that plant is very endemic to Western Ghat, and importantly, they are producing anti-cancer properties. So because of that anti-cancer properties, it's now turned. Earlier, their name was Narkya. Narkya means like it's smelling very badly. It's like hell. So that's why in our dialect, Narkya means like it's hell. But fortunately, after research was going on and people found out that this plant work as anti-cancer properties, and nowadays that casein or some other proteins were extracted from that plants used as a anti-cancer medicines. So it's very important, it's very endemic. So obviously, because of not just medical properties, these plant only found in Western Ghats, not around any other parts of a globe. So that's our ethical, moral, environmental responsibility. We have to save that plants. One more bird I will give you example. Malabar pied hornbill, Malabar grey hornbill. Actually, hornbill, lot of Indian people may be aware about the hornbill. Hornbill is a typical type of bird. He's having a horn on his beak. So that's why the bird called is a hornbill. So it's a lot of hornbill species found in India, but Malabar grey and Malabar pied usually found in a Western Ghat, and they have a peculiar nesting behavior. Usually, other birds making nest on trees, twigs with the sticks and other parts, but this bird making nest in a tree trunks or bark of the trees. So it's very important. It's like they're using these tree cavities using as a nest. So that's why they need lot of big trees for their nesting and their life cycle. So usually these birds only found in this belt because they have Western Ghat has a very good forest and they have a good tree, a big tree. So they choosing as a nest for the trees. So and these birds playing important role in pollination and seed dispersal. So that's why in our environmental language we call them farmers of the forest, because they are sowing seeds, seed dispersal from one place to another, because usually they are feeding lot of ficus species, and ficus species are very hard to grow in nursery and other places. They need some seed dispersal methods or whatever seed germination process. So naturally these birds eating these ficus fruits, and through their sheets these seeds dispersal so everywhere, and plant can easily grow like banyan, figs, these ficus species spread with these birds. So that's ecologically also important of birds playing in a creating good forests. So that's why we have to save these birds, because they're protector and farmer of the forest.
Yeah, that's really like powerful, Shruti. And like sometimes we don't realize why like a lot of these plants and animals and birds play such an important ecological role. And thank you for throwing light on that. And I know in your thesis you studied so many different butterfly and bird species. You actually have a detailed list of what you observed.
Yeah.
And like before we jump into your research, Shruti, I know you did a BSc in botany for
Yeah.
about 3 years, then an MSc in environmental science for two
Yes.
years, and then for 5 to 6, actually 7 years, you did your PhD at the Savitri Bai Phule Pune
Yeah.
University. So you've been studying for about 10 to 11 years,
Yeah.
about botany and the environment.
Yeah.
So what was your experience studying about the environment in this 11-year period, and why did you decide to study about botany and the environment? Like, what was your curiosity behind it?
So earlier I mentioned that story. It's triggered me that time, and that time I decided I will do something in a that time to be not that aware about the degrees and post graduation and PhDs, but just that time one thought came in mind, like I have to study on these trees. So it's triggered me that time, and fortunately I passed 12th science exam. So that time I decided I will do BSc in botany. And second year of botany, we attended one slideshow. That time, I am saying 2004 or 3, the period of that time. And that time it was not like these PPTs, and it's not common that time. So that time it was slideshows and the that slideshow projectors. So one person from WWF came in our college for one like extracurricular session. That time we were running WWF ka eco club. So with that eco club I attended that lecture, and it was fascinated with that lecture, because that lecture was on plant diversity in Western Ghats, and the person, Mr. Suhas Vaingankar, that time he was a WWF official environmental educator person, and he explained very well, and I really love that slideshow. And that again I decided I will do masters in environmental science, because he also focused on not just plant. Because when you doing academics, most of time your like vision is like horse or bull, like you're just seeing in front of like academics. But fortunately, because of this extracurricular eco club, they explained us correlations, how these importance, why we have to save these Western Ghats, all these correlated factors they explained very well. And that time I decided I will do masters in environmental science, not just botany, because I want to understand what are the correlations. And fortunately, since my childhood I was traveling with my family many places. So it's always curious about nature. I want to learn about nature. I want to study on nature, natural things. So it's always like motivating me that times to doing bachelor, masters, and again PhD with this same subject. So I that time I was just keep walking on that one thought. And fortunately now I'm happy that I did all these my academics in a very interesting subject. So it's a science of survival, then it's a science of outdoor. And that's why it's not study or academic is not always burden for me. It's always enjoyable, and it's keeping me curious about nature. And nature always amazes us. Like I will give you one example. If you really want to see the amazing nature, so just in front of your balcony, in front of your door, or in front of your in your backyard, so just observe one tree in different season, and you are seeing lot of things with the same tree in a different season, like blooming, then autumn, then leaf fall, and then lot of other creatures living on the same tree, and it's always keeping curious and amaze you, like it's very beautiful. So just for your mental health sake also, just try it sometime, uh, like 3 months, 4 months, or whatever you are comfortable. Just observe morning, just 10-15 minutes, your backyard, whatever tree, bush you can see from your window, backyard door. So just observe within 3 months, 6 months span, and you will learn this amazing nature.
Yeah, that's beautiful, Shruti. And like sometimes there's so much you can learn from nature, and I think in India in particular, we are blessed to have so many different regions. Like we have the Himalayas in the north. We
Yeah.
have rivers and the coastal region in the south,
Yeah.
and even the west and the east were so filled with beautiful natural reserves, conservation parks. And I think India, in a lot of ways, is like a leader, in conserving the natural environment, right? Because we have such a rich flora and fauna ecosystem that a lot of countries may not be able to sustain and, build on. So, thanks for throwing light on that, Shruti. But Shruti, what is it like? Like, if I want to do my PhD, if there's a young person listening to this in India from any state, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Delhi, so if they want to do their PhD, what is the process to apply for a PhD? What happens in the PhD? And then what can you do after you finish your PhD? So, can you tell me about this by talking about your experience from 2013 to 2021?
Yeah. Sure. So it's quite lengthy process. So I will tell you in the context of Indian universities. Outside universities, I'm not aware much, but Indian university usually you have to be passed either say a state eligibility test or a NET, national eligibility test. So if you pass already, so it's easy to at least admit in PhD process. If you didn't pass, in my case that time I didn't pass my state net exams, so I appeared for PET exam, PhD entrance exam. So PhD entrance test, and that time I think I was trying like more than 2 years in different universities with the PET exam. Fortunately I was passing all these exams, but in not like other academics, PhD is not like just you passed and you entered in that academic process. First you have to search guides. If you just pass exam, you have to contact the research supervisors or guide who are available with whatever you want to do, whatever you are interested in. So you have to match your subject with that guide, if he is allowing you to doing research on the same topic which he also wants to do. So that again it's process starting with the allowing or admitting supervisor to that student. And in a Indian context, one supervisor at least maximum 8 students can take for his PhD students. That's why again problem is started, uh, because lot of people already having PhD students, so sometimes it's very difficult to entering them to you. Sometimes supervisor also matching with your topic interest, but sometimes they don't have seats in their beyond their capacities. So you have to confirm with them also, like they have seats in their they have that empty vacant seats in their academics. So after PET and SETNET clear exam clearance, you have to appear PhD interview. That time panel will ask you what are the your objectives, what do you want to do in research, what are the subjects are available, which guides are till now available. So you have to do face interview like half an hour ka, you have to face that interview. And after the your mark, written exam mark, and some universities they are taking exam like SETNET. First is logical aptitude test, first paper, second paper your subject paper, and third will be interview. But some universities mix with both aptitude and your subject together, and they're conducting one exam only, and after that you are facing interview with your supervisor and other panel of the university, and then officially they have giving you the provisional admission for PhD. Then you have to discuss with your supervisor, guide with your topic, then background research of your topic. If your research topic is new, so it's always good. But if it's like very common, but if you want to research on something new in the common topic, that also fine for you. But just one thing you have to learn about PhD, you need lot of patience. Every step is like exam of your endurance and patience level. So keep calm and just face whatever academics entrance exam. Then while interviewing with the panel and supervisor, just focus on whatever you want to do. Sometime supervisor also forcing you, like they want to forcing you like their topics on your heads, but just don't do that, because after all, if you're not interested in that topic, or if you're not aware with that topic, it's very hard to research on the topic. So just try to push politely that whatever you are interested into, because sometimes they also taking your exam like whatever your level of research. Some people like just okay, if guide or supervisor suggesting something, they're okay with that. But sometimes it's very very hard to do again with the research thing, and research thing is not like regular academic. It's not like written exam. You have to do deep studies and lot of references, and you, if you are not clear with your basic understanding, it's very very hard to do with research. So just one more advice from my side. So try to at least if supervisor pushing his topic to you, his or her topic, but you have to at least politely mix his topic and your interest together. And if it's not happening, just move back from the place, because you have to try some other supervisor, because sometimes it's very hard and like very traumatic processes for a lot of people. I experienced that. I saw that. So just try to figure it out. If supervisor is okay with all this process, just go ahead. Nahi to take a step back and just search more opportunities in other universities or other with other supervisors. Then after topic selection, you have to prepare one pre PhD presentation with in front of committee, research committee. So that time you have to explain objective, hypothesis, your methodologies, and whatever expected outcomes you want to achieve in during your research. So you have to propose, it's like small research proposal you have to present during your pre PhD presentation. So when pre-PhD presentation is going well, then a university approve your topic for final research methodologies, whatever. If they want to suggest something, they are suggesting in this pre-PhD synopsis presentation. If they are okay with your methodologies, objective, hypothesis, so they are admitting you, or they are accepting your proposal, and after that you will start actually your research work. And sometimes it's taking 3 to 6 months. That's why earlier I mentioned it's not like your regular academic. Sometimes it's like always your exam of your patience level. So just keep patient, always keep that patience. And some universities, they are allowing within 3 to 6 months. Some it's taking, because they also having like numerous proposals to different departments, so it will take time. In my case, my research topic are approved after 1 year. But I already started some basic steps of my methodology, some research work, review of literature I already started. But actual work I started after 1 year of my pre-PhD presentation. So so after that, you actual whatever methodology you decided. And again, methodology, lot of people confuse with methodology thing. Some academicians, they are forcing to do conventional, regular, whatever set methods. But if you really want to do research, I will give you advice, explore new methods also. Sometimes conventional methods you can't achieve your expected outcomes, because it's sometimes every method is having their own capacities or own errors. So sometimes this regular conventional method sometimes hard to do achieve your research expected outcome. So try to do with new methods, but with reference. Like in my case, I will give example. In bird and butterfly studies, there are a lot of fixed method like transact method, point count method. But in my case, I use both methods, because one method can't give you the exact unbiased results. And research, you have to be always unbiased, because you have biasness in your hypothesis and objective. You always your thought process is always going with the biasness, and it's always affecting your results conclusion. So I will tell you in my context, like some birds, if I'm observed in my field studies, and if I'm consulting with the normal academicians or the experts in my field area, they're saying these birds though we can't find in your area, it's hardly impossible. So that's why I also having that biasness in previous days. Yeah, this butterfly can't find in my areas, but nature is not going with the thumb rule, so it's always surprise you. So whatever your observation, just confirm with different resources, and keep going with your own unbiasedness. Not sometimes people pushing their biases with you, but no, don't follow that biasness in your research. It's always affecting result, and it's always failure model of your research methodologies if you have bias. I will give simple example, like currently I'm staying in Nagaland. So when I shifted to Nagaland, lot of people have biasness about Naga people are always the tribal. They are human eater or cannibalist people. So that's the biasness. If I'm coming with that same biasness, like tribal, wrong attitude, mentality, so I can't get good friends. So I always coming with the blank slate, no biasness at all in my mind. I will try to explore, and then I will make a opinion about the things, not always opinionated about things. So it always, if you're welcome with that unbiasedness, it's always giving you something interesting. So just research topic, I will give one advice: don't keep biases in your mind. And methodologies, like earlier I mentioned, just explore new methodologies with references. Mix your methodologies with proper conventional methodologies with your new something. Combined with both these things, and then do your research, whatever research you want. Because research is also again depend on whatever topic you choose. So if it's social studies, the methodologies are different. For the life science, botany, zoology, the methods are different. If you are having lab experiments, the methodology will be different. So it's depend on your topic, but just do proper research before deciding your methodology, because most of time objective hypothesis we can prove with methodology. And if your methodology is not correct, it's always hampering your hindrances, your results, conclusion, and observation. So just keep in mind, and whatever methodology if you selected, and in Indian universities, every 6 months there is always progress report presentation in universities. So whatever, and it's good. Sometimes people feeling like burden of this progress report presentation, but it always help you with your methodology. If something not good with your methodology, within 6 months you can understand, or you can learn about this wrong methodology, you can change. In some people, they change topic after 6 months also, because in initial days, with the excitement, with lot of that enthusiasm, people choosing like very big topics, and it's very hard to do research, because research also we have to finish maximum 5 years. so it's always it's like fixed timelines. So just choose your topic wisely, like it should be finished within 4 5 years, or whatever expected outcomes you want to achieve, it should be like time bound. So, because some research though keeps going on, if you're studying on population dynamic, it's to keep going on. So you have to limit yourselves with the whatever timeline Gantt chart you are preparing before your research proposal. So fix with the per chart or Gantt chart and follow that. Most of time it's not follow, but try to follow the Gantt chart. And because lot of unexpected things keep going on coming on your research, so just that 20% of unexpected things just keep in mind and have patience, and do your research. All the best.
Yeah, that's really helpful, Shruti. Like for someone that is, I think that point you mentioned about negotiating your topic, like
Yeah.
even because I did my master's thesis, it's not as rigorous as a PhD. I think it's
Yeah.
so important to not only fight for your topic, but be very knowledgeable about the topic you are researching
Yeah.
about. Because your supervisor will always ask you questions about, do you know the research before?
Yeah.
Do you know where this is going? So I
Yeah.
think that's very important point. And also, being open to make changes, being progressive with your methodology. Like, there are some terms in this research world, Shruti, like correlation, causation, methodology.
Yeah.
Like, can you like I had like for someone that has no background in reading an academic paper, right? How can someone read an academic paper? Like, what are some skills we can develop to understand how to read a research paper from start to finish?
Yeah. So that's why it's depend on your topic subject, but very interesting key I will share with you. Uh, because research models, most of research models using statistical method, and common layman, it's very difficult to understand. Even though background of research, science, still I also have to very difficult figure it out with the biostatistical methods, because they are software based models. Sometimes it's with the statistical model, and how to find this correlation with the statistical model, it's very hard. Even there's some social surveys also, people using these statistical models with the figures. So first thing, if you are reading research paper, research proposal or thesis, just try to understand background of the uh, most of people skip that introduction part and directly focusing on the results or observation. That time sometimes it's very difficult. First read abstract, try to, and just read. Like sometimes you can't learn things like just one reading. You have to read again and again and again, and then you will find this my method. Maybe other people will follow. But if it's very technical, highly technical paper like Springer, elsewhere they're highly technical academics paper, they have you can't like understand within one reading. So you have to read more and more times, like 3 4 times, then just wisely like calmly read every words and try to collect this information whatever researcher want to explain in his paper. And sometimes problem with research paper, because of the technicality and the word limitation, they always squeeze data within 4 5 papers. The whole PhD thesis is squeezed in 4 5 pages. It's very difficult to understand. So try to at least background, abstract, introduction, and then start to read the methodology. Some people, for saving time and keeping short, they're directly jumping into methodologies and directly observations. Sometimes it's very difficult, like earlier I mentioned, every person using different methodologies, so you have to understand whatever methodologies they use in their during their research. And after learning, understanding methodologies, then you jump into the observation and conclusion. And sometime earlier mentioned, sometime you, if you can't understand within one reading, try to read 3 4 times. One more advice, still if you can't understand anything, reach out to your friends. Some if the supervisor is good, it's good, so you can reach out to him or her also. But if the person supervisor can't give you that time out of his own priorities, you can reach out to other research scholar or friends. Nowadays it's easy access of YouTube, like you are doing this podcast. Just depend on the different podcast YouTube channels. They also learning platforms. They are also sharing lot of good insights of how to read, how to write, how to understand concepts of very difficult concept, like economist and other agroeconomics models are very very complicated. So just try to simplify and reach out to someone. Just during your research process, I will one more important advice I want to give you: just reach out to your friends who are having these research backgrounds, either your junior, senior, your colleagues, your friends, whatever, your virtual friends. Sometimes virtual friends are also very very useful. Like my personal experience, my virtual friends help me a lot with the paper publication. Some reach out to other publication, they help me a lot. So just try to, and just keep aside, research is always having, I earlier mentioned, having like patience. So just whatever you achieve in your life is not related to your research paper. So just keep aside your ego, knowledge, whatever you have, and reach out to people. A lot of good people around us and they want to help us. So, and keep motivating yourself. That's one trigger point during research process. Sometime I am seeing these examples with lot of researcher. First year of research, they always enthused, excited with your research, but second, third year of research, you are feeling demotivated because you are just keep doing some method, and you don't know whatever you are doing, it's correct or it's wrong, it's going as per your expected outcomes or expectations. But don't think, in the midway of the research, just don't think about the results that time. Just whatever methodology you decided, just keep going on. When the last stage of analytical or analysis part, that time it will figure it out with your data. If you have enough data, you have enough surveys, data, whatever methods you have, it will help you to design your thesis. So just try to collect good data. Sometime you are thinking this data is not relevant to my research topic, but just if it's around that area or around the topic, just make a note of that extra data with that non-relevant also, but sometime later on it will be useful. Like in my case, that time when I was doing some research models, I did my bird butterfly surveys, and yeah, I know that some correlation with the habitats and plants. But that time I did with, along with my research topics, I collected some plant data. Habitat means like the plants or birds or animals, they live in that area. The area is called habitat. So whatever habitat, that time I just out of typical research model, I I noted that habitat relations, and later on it was really useful with the photographic record. So I can relate my all these habitats with the birds, and it was helpful for me to design my research thesis. So sometimes it's also important to because we also have very less time in field, so we have to collect lot more data in our own topic. But try to at least make a note of this. Sometimes it's non-relevant, but it's related to your area, it's related to your topic. Just make a note on that. Maybe later on during your analytical part it will be useful. So and keep going on. After all, after finishing your data collection, something will other comes out your research. And I know some academician forcing you, your research is always like positive, but research is not positive or negative. Maybe your hypothesis, something is related to this, it's your hypothesis, but after doing your research you realize that this is not related. That also one finding of your research topic na, ki after, like Edison always say na, I didn't find one way to make a bulb, but 1,000 ways to not making a bulb, like that. So don't demotivated with negative results, but try to figure out whatever negative results are justified or correlated with your research topic. It's also one more observation conclusion of your research, that in the early stage of research you can't explain these things. After mid or later part of your research you can realize that. So don't feel demotivate with these things. Just keep going on with your methodologies, research, data collection, and later on if you start analyze the data with the methods, something will come out with the interesting will come out through your research.
Got it, Shruti. That's very helpful. And like, Shruti, your topic, like the topic that you were studying was a study on birds and butterflies as bioindicator species in the Manoli Reserve Forest and the Amba village. So both these areas are close to the Kolhapur region in Maharashtra. And a bioindicator is basically, like, you can tell us more about this. So can you tell me about your research? What was your methodology? And what were some of your main findings in your
Yeah.
study over
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. So my earlier you mentioned the title of my thesis. So it's a study on comparative study on residential area of Amba village and Manoli Reserve Forest. So that time thought process behind this, like because the Western Ghat having lot of threats these days, mining or exploitation or tourism and other developmental activities, like overgrowing residential areas, then lot of related to population or population problems are associated with Western Ghat. So some of anthropogenic man-made activities was carried out that time. So that time I was like want to sure ki if is any method I can assess the level of degradation of that area. So one thought came in my mind, and earlier I was engaged some organization because I did my masters in 2008, but I admitted in 2014 for PhD. So 4 5 years I was doing some other job. So during my professional uh, days, I thought some impact assessments and some assignments we were doing. That time I thought ki some small surveys like 3 4 days ka survey of that area can't give the exact conclusive remarks of the level of degradation. So I thought ki it will be helpful for people who are doing environmental impact assessment. Just 3 4 species you can find in that area, then you can give some extent, I know, so some extent like near to the conclusive remark. So that time I started this topic, working on this topic. And first of all, I will explain the term of bioindicator. Actually, bio, it's self-explanatory. Bio means living things. Indicator means indicating. Now, bioindicators also lot of categories. Nowadays, one more indicator, bioindicator is climate change indicators, because all over globe people are facing lot of climate change impacts, and some flowers blooming, butterfly behaviors also change with this climate change. So even though infestation in agricultural land is also more because of climate change, so these are again indicating the something because of climate change. So nowadays one more category is climate change indicators. So climate bioindicator is simply the animal, plant, or one organism or group of organism explaining, warning, indicating something about that area. It's called as a bioindicator, simple language. And they have categories like ecosystem indicators, like climate change. Ecosystem means like they indicating about the ecosystem. Biodiversity indicators mean they are explaining about biodiversity. One is environmental, because some microorganism also showing some quality of water, air, so that work as environmental indicators. So these indicators are showing, indicating something, so that helps you to understand level of degradation. So in my case, I chose these bird and butterflies. First I want to focus on just butterflies, but butterflies are very site specific and it affects with the climate and very sensitive towards climate. So overall, because sometime heavy monsoon time, you can't find butterflies in your area. So I want one more species or organism of species I can easily easily I can found them around you. So that why I chose bird also as a bioindicators. And with this, I studied whatever with the seasons. I collected data of individuals, number of species, number of families, and I processed this data with the lot of statistical method I earlier mentioned. And the statistical methods gave me interesting results, like they're correlated with their habitats, their nesting behavior, their feeding behavior. I will give simple example. Sparrows, common in India. Sparrows, bulbuls are very common birds. You can find anywhere in urban settlements, in agriculture land, various areas like small gardens. You can find this. But if you are studying their feeding, like eating behavior, so sparrows are usually feeding on grains, seeds. So if sparrows are more in your area, so it's indicating agriculture land is around you or anything. They and one more term in our technical, it's grainivorous birds. Grainivorous means grain eating birds. So it's again indicating if sparrows are more in your forested area, it's not a good sign, because agriculture land expanded in your forest area. That's why these birds are growing, because they have easier food availability. So that's why this indicating. In earlier mention, I hornbill. These hornbill birds having peculiar nesting characters. So that's why they only found in good rich forest area, because they need big tree trunks for their nesting. And if you found like continuously these birds in your forest area, then it's indicating forest is good. Like butterflies also, some butterflies they and lot of people are aware butterflies having their life cycle with the larva, caterpillar, sorry, egg, larva or caterpillar, then pupa, and then adult butterfly. So most of time female butterfly laying egg on in a particular plants called host plants, because these larvas only feeding on these leaves of that particular plant. So that's why they are very site specific, very tree specific. And if that tree is available in your area, they definitely come and lay eggs on leaves of the trees or twigs of the trees. Like very common example, uh, curry leaves is very common in India, and we using as a backyard gardens, kitchen gardens, herbal gardens, curry leaves for our spices or kitchen daily uses. We are using curry leaf. But curry leaf is very good host plant of lot of mormon species. Mormon name of butterfly. In Maharashtra, we have state butterflies, blue mormon. It's also laying eggs on curry leaves. And lot of mormon species like common mormon, blue mormon, these butterfly species laying eggs on host plant is like curry leaves. Like other butterflies, forest species also laying eggs on particular forest species. So that's why they are indicating if you are founding their occurrence in that area, like showing that this either this trees available abundantly, or because of the abundance of that trees, butterflies are easily you can easily found in that area. So this correlation of indicating, and earlier I mentioned their nesting, feeding, and behaviors showing us about indicating something.
Got it. And so the conclusion of your research was that these butterfly species and these bird species in the Amba village and Manoli Reserve Forest, they are a good bioindicator. So was it
Yeah.
high or was it low, their
Yeah.
proliferation?
Either presence or absence, showing the indicating, means like most of time in my cases I focus on the presence, abundance, and frequency. Sometimes if you're seeing one butterfly one time, it's not counting as a bioindicator, but frequency is more, so it's
Yeah.
indicating or it's correlating something. So frequency is
So,
also important. If you're going
so
and just one visit you are seeing them and next visit you can't see, so you can't predict that as a bioindicator. You have to rigorous observation and abundance, frequency. Abundance means how many birds or butterflies found in that area. It's a one individual, two individuals, or many individuals. If individuals are more, it's again indicating because it's abundant in that area.
got it. So, according to you, are these two regions doing well environmentally or no? Because you mentioned at the start in your abstract that the Amba village was actually not doing very well, and Manoli was one of the better ecological regions. So, at the end of your thesis, was that the same result you had, that both of these are the
Yeah,
same?
yeah, yeah. Because earlier I mentioned because of anthropogenic activities, over tourism, and
Yeah,
some agriculture expansion, that earlier Amba was the forest area, but because of this anthropogenic activity, now these species shifted to Manoli side area. It's just 4-5 kilometers ka difference, but still, if you are seeing diversity perspective, it's the results are very different than two areas. So that's earlier my hypothesis was like Amba settlements, mining, and over tourism. I surprised that time. So small village like Amba, that time it had 40 resorts in around that small village. So you can predict that how much over tourism was going on that time. Maybe that number now increased to 100 also, because I studied during 2015 to 2018. But because of greenery, because of sighting of wild animals, and because of the adjoining of coastal area, Amba was like overrated that time for the tourism and other adventurous activities like trekking, trailing, birding, and other jumping and climbing, rock climbing, all these activities, because it's situated in Western Ghats. So all adventure sports were happening also around with these resorts.
yeah. That's very, very insightful, Shruti, because not just in like the Kolhapur region, but all around the world, like you can apply the same methodology and see if anthropogenic activities, like any like tourism or mining, do they affect the environment? And the existence of these flora and fauna can tell you, because and it is not like there's no bias in nature, as you said, right? In
Yeah,
nature, it will never like lie. So if the species are not there, then there must be something wrong with the
yeah.
environment, and it's important to intervene. So amazing, amazing work with your research, Shruti. I think in the long run, not just for the Kolhapur region, but for India in general, your research is like extremely important, like as a document, for like environmental studies in India in general. Like Shruti, like after you graduated, lots of people they may choose to become a professor and stay in the university, but you did not go down that path. Like instead of teaching and becoming a professor, you worked at KPMG for 3 years, and now you are working with the Nagaland Education Board. So what are some opportunities for PhD scholars after they get their PhD degree? Like, can you tell me how we can go about getting a job within the university and outside the university based on your experience?
Yeah, inside university, it's always very limited options like academician, lecturer, reader, professors, like always traditional method of careers. But I thought ki I'm not criticizing the system of education system, but nowadays with the governance system and policies, academics are very their focus is very limited. More, I'm not saying every academician or professor is doing that, but if we are considering 60-40%, 60% people just want to do like nothing exciting in academics. So they're just following, just completing their syllabus and other administration work. Very few academicians or the professor, reader, lecturers, they are doing extracurricular, they are exploring some other ways of research or whatever, out of box thinking. Like earlier you also remembered, while when we were discussing our ideas, our pitching area, education sector. So that time also, like most of time it's stuck with the I'm not blaming, it's a system, I'm not blaming 1 or 2%, it's a system blame. So they just making like clerk mentality, just you have to complete your syllabus within academic year and just do whatever task you are given. Some of my friends want to explore other areas, but because of system's fault, they can't much explore other sectors. So I
Right.
thought, I love to teach students. It's always enthu interacting with the young generation. I also getting lot of ideas from them, but because of the system fault, and there is a not teamwork like other sectors. You can't exchange your ideas, na. You have to stick your own subject, your own topic. So I thought I want to meet, explore some other people's idea or perspective. So I chose this other word. Fortunately, environment is a big sector. So nowadays you can apply not just purely academic career, but NGO sector, research sector, and corporate sector. Nowadays, lot of corporate people needs good environmentalists, good researchers, because they also want to do a lot of project based research, lot of conclusion during their researches. So they always preferring these researchers in the corporate sector. So one more path researchers can choose nowadays. Good in a social sector also, they have also good opportunities because of now one term like environmental social governance, ESG. All corporates, they have to comply with this ESG sector. So they are hiring these people with these international frameworks. Then for the gender equality, other social factors, indigeneity, ethnicity, you have to preserve your ethnicity. So in that context, environmental social people hiring more in corporate sector. For environmental context, energy saving, then life cycle assessment. Life cycle assessment means whatever product you are making or whatever research you are doing in your corporate, whatever carbon footprints are you are doing on earth, that's important. So that's why its new sector is not new, but it's like emerging. It's like 5 6 years ago it started, people are hiring these people. And fortunately, I'm doing a great job with the government of Nagaland. And previous also I have a good experience with MNC, like a big five, big four KPMG company, and it was really good. It was really good experience working with them. They always supporting me because Nagaland is not like other states of India. They have some challenges, basic challenges like electricity, water, and roads and transportation. But they always supported us during our engagement with them, and they it was good experience. Fortunately, my mentors, delivery managers, and the engagement leaders, they were good, so I can easily share my problem challenges with them. And they not every time we can't find solution, but they are at least trying to give me some suggestions. So it was interesting. Some like earlier I mentioned, earlier I also have biasness about corporate sector, that people are like, I know corporate having their pro and cons. It's not always like goody goody romanticism about. But during my 3 years journey with KPMG, I learned a lot with the sector of corporate, and it was really insightful, enriching experience with working with KPMG and Nagaland. So people can apply, and it's very simple method. LinkedIn and other platforms, you can apply whatever research degree you achieve, like social, environment, education, and developmental sectors in India now. So they have really good opportunities in education, women empowerment, then environment, social sector. They have a lot of good opportunities in corporate. The people can And good part, corporate giving you very deserving salaries, because academics may, if his college or research institute is good enough, they are giving you good salaries. But overall, the academic career people, some non-grant colleges and universities, they can't give you that as much as you deserve. But corporate give you other benefits, like they're giving you bonus increments every year, so that's you can get from the corporate sector. So just explore, just reach out to different corporate firms, apply through the emails, create networks with the people who are working in your same sector. Just try to reach out to them, and it's not like self out of selfishness, but keep maintaining relationship with your previous organization also. Sometimes you have a good relationship and you have most of people doing good work, but sometimes if your relation not good relationship with your previous organization or other organization, it's sometimes it's lacking you behind. But in my opinion, but if you're having good relationship with different organization, with people, if you are treating them equally, respectfully, people always having that thought of mind, they will reach out to you, they help you. So it's always making connections, reach out to people, and try to explore more opportunities now. Apart from IT and typical traditional sectors, other sectors are emerging with a lot of opportunities, even skill development sector now emerging. So just explore these opportunities and try to use your research in your professional life. Most of people like away from your, I know sometime in some whatever challenges you face, you can't do that, but try to at least explore apart from your profession. If it's if you're loving your topic, if you love your research, so just explore in a different ways, like after research there are a lot of research things also, like mine, I did my research on butterflies and I obsessed with butterflies. Lot of my good friends know that I'm obsessed with butterflies. Even though Nagaland also, people bored with, because Nagaland don't have like other metro life, they don't have theaters, they don't have like big hustle bustle life. So it's very peaceful, calm life. People bored weekends, most of time weekends people feeling bored. But because of my research interest and my obsession with butterflies, I was going with just my mobile camera and just my t-shirt and cargos, and I was roaming around some areas around Kohima, and I found some interesting observation of northeastern butterflies. So that helps me to like living 3 years very peacefully and very enjoyable. Some people bored with the because some people very used to with the urban culture, like Nagaland don't have malls, theaters, and like typical metro style lifestyle. But you have, it's very beautiful, it's very scenic place in India. Lot of people don't know, people exploring other parts of world. But India is, like you mentioned, India is very beautiful and diverse. Like they have oceans, Himalayas, deserts, plateaus, then Gangetic plains, and like hills of northeast. So just explore. And one more motivation for me, like I am choosing this path. If my knowledge help people where like non-conventionally people don't want to go, like uh, like I will give you example. If its room is full of dark, and you, if you're just lighting one candle, that's also sometimes it's little enough for that dark room. Like
True.
and the room with the full of light, and if you're blowing your candle or you're lightening your candle, sometimes it's like wastage of your candle also, your efforts also. So that also one more thought whenever I'm choosing these thoda hatke career, out of box careers. Like I want to do, help people to, through my knowledge, whatever gain through my academics, I want to help people with through my knowledge and through my experiences. So that's one more thing I chose this different careers, like typical traditional, apart from traditional career opportunities.
That's amazing, Shruti. I think your career and your path is such an inspiration. Like that positive note, you are like the light in a dark room, right? And I think a lot of PhD students will be listening to this talk and they will get to learn that, you can continue doing your research in the real world. You can explore opportunities in the corporate world and the social sector, and there are ways to apply your research in the real world. And
Yeah.
kudos to you for being so honest with your research topic. And I really hope you continue writing about butterflies, birds, and the ecology in India, not just in Nagpur or in Kolhapur, because I feel like as a country, a lot of us need to understand why our flora and fauna is so important,
Yeah.
not just in the Kolhapur region, but even in Nagaland. And I completely agree. I think India is one of the most beautiful countries in the world. We have the coastal region, the hills, the mountains, and we have so many different languages, right?
Yeah.
People, I think that makes us very special, like in the global ecosystem. And I think our
Mhm.
diversity is meant to be celebrated, not just in languages, but
Yeah.
also our flora and fauna.
Yeah.
So for the listeners, I will be linking Shruti's LinkedIn profile. She has such a diverse set of experiences. She's on the lookout for other professional opportunities right now. So, Shruti, any last thoughts about your, professional endeavors? Anything you'd like to share about what you want to do coming ahead, or any opportunities you are looking for?
Yeah, earlier you mentioned I am exploring because my project is coming to end. So I am exploring other opportunities. But
Right.
basically, I'm searching opportunities in indigenous communities, biodiversity, wildlife, education, most of environmental education sector, even some extent climate change because I did some small projects on agriculture climate based solutions. So that also I want to explore and three thing actually I'm not believing giving advice to young people, but as a mid career level of my life, so I just want to mention two three things. So it's like very gisapita in Hindi, we are like very repetitive statement like hard work is no option, but it's reality. Hard work have You have to do hard work if you really achieve something in your life. Hard work is the only way. So if you usually during your earlier career stage, if you are explore things, you read, learn, discuss, explore different set of subjects or different subjects. If you have opportunity to explore the different areas, subjects, so do that. Whatever you are gaining knowledge, it's always useful. It's like small things you learn in your life is always helpful in your full of life. So just do explore and do hard work. And I know they a lot of people nowadays very towards these. I also enjoying watching shows, Netflix and podcasts. Usually, I also love to learn, read, listen this podcast because it's always giving you one level up from your current situation, because people also struggle a lot. We are learning from their experiences. Some people really get out from the shits and hells, and they achieve a lot, like tremendously. It's always inspiring, motivating me, because fortunately through my whole life I met really really amazing people through Jagruti, through other platforms. I met a lot of amazing people, and I'm really happy for them. They are achieving, they are doing their jobs very well and dedicatedly. Sometime we will explain share our experience with Jagruti also. So that Jagruti also, I just want to, I'm getting this opportunity through your podcast. It's interesting. We did our assignments and homeworks and lot of things we did. And that time Abhishek was in a different time zone and we were in a different time zone, but he was trying to cope up with our time zone. And late nights we had discussions on our pitching ideas. And that time I learned a lot. It's not like it's what's really difficult task. 10 days you have to complete a lot of things in a different sectors, like solar energy to dabbawalas to these Jagruti enterprise in Devriya. A lot of different case studies and different perspectives and different speakers. And continuously, I think more than 10 hours we were listening different people. Sometimes we can't gather all these things together, but it was amazing journey. Through your platform, I also invite people just join Jagruti Yatra. It's really enriching experience. Unfortunately, in our case, COVID happened, so we did with this virtual, but still it was like enriching experience because I met amazing people, Abhishek, Hilary, then Divya, then Anamika, amazing people, and we were. Our common interest was education that time, and we really shared our experiences, even though our own life journey struggles we shared. And that really, and that time I was going through a hell because of my research, and COVID happened and my research stuck. Because of COVID I couldn't submit my thesis, and that time also I was feeling demotivated. But fortunately JDY that time came, and it's really boost my energy. And it's like now I am turned different person after Jagruti. And I know because of I'm feeling believing in destiny, all these positivity came to me, and within 3 months I submitted my thesis. And within 1 year like till December I was already doctor got my doctorate degree, so it was amazing. So just try to explore these developmental opportunities like Jagruti, Gandhi Fellowship. There are a lot of developmental sectors platforms, sharing experiences. One more, I learned a lot of from to my fellowships. So just try to explore fellowships in your early career stage and meet lot people. I know books always giving lot of good information, but if you are having that human touch with people, you gain not lot of knowledge from people. So just connect lot of people from around globe, and sky is your limit. Just fly effortlessly.
Wonderful.
Thank
So
you.
that's a great positive note for the listeners tuning in. Stay tuned for more such amazing stories of young Indians defining the future of our country. Not Shruti Kulkarni, but Dr. Shruti Kulkarni. It was amazing chatting with you. I will be linking Shruti's LinkedIn profile. If you are looking for someone that has a background in research, environmental impact, Shruti, I feel, is the perfect candidate for something in that space. And you can follow up with her through her LinkedIn profile, and you can also reach out to her for her research. I was able to read her thesis, and I really learned a lot about the ecological system in the Amba region and the Manoli Reserve as well. So thank you again. This is Abhishek Shetty and the T-shirt tubers signing off on this episode of Learning Stories. And stay tuned for more such stories. And until then, keep learning.